Well,
Hey then.
now that I've switched into my fancy pants,
Yes, those really, really fancy pants that you can't see.
they're sweatpants.
Oh man, that's pretty fancy.
Yeah, pants at home? What is wrong with you?
These are the nicest pants I own.
Wow.
So, Jason, you just binge read a lot of something. What was it?
Well,
There's the title right in front of you.
yeah, but say someone wanted to look this up. Like, I don't. It probably goes under the other title, but yeah.
I think you could look it up by both.
Oh yeah, this is the internet. It was fuck Fairyland.
Yeah,
Or I hate Fairyland if you are
That's the candy version.
out in the world and have to pretend not to be horrible even though everyone is.
It doesn't change what's on the inside. It's just what's on the cover.
if
Yeah,
you're
it's just a cover. Like,
Yeah.
even alternate picture along with the alternate title, which is neat, I guess, because, like, yeah, like, you're not looking at the, title the whole time, but, like, it is cool to have two, pictures to choose from for a comic book. Like, I mean, sometimes it sucks.
yeah,
then
sometimes they go overboard and have like 15 different covers.
Ooh, 10 different covers for one. Oh, God. The
Collect them
Sonic
all.
and Mega Man comics did that real bad for a while and still kind of do.
the special Doozle variant covers that they think
Yeah, it's like, ooh,
people
comic
are-
shop variant. It's like, okay, there's one variant. Oh, wait, there's literally one of them was like, there's 12 different ones. And it's like, no, it's all just the same issue. I just want one. I'll pick the one I think looks best and take it.
I actually think it's been worse with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series that's been coming out.
Oh, they do that too?
Well, they have variant covers, but then they have super special variant covers that only come out one per 100 issues, I think.
Wow.
So then they're selling those at the comic stores for way more than the cover price. So yeah, with the Sonic ones, there's a ton of them, but they all cost the same. But I saw one, I think it was one of the Pink Ranger ones. The variant cover was selling for like 150, something like that.
Why?
And then I saw some other ones that were around 15. It just, I don't know,
But
it
it's
just
a
depends.
sexy picture.
I guess.
If you took enough drugs,
So-
Fairyland's pretty sexy. I mean, actually, it's super violent and crazy, and it's really good. I read 10 issues in a row
Yeah, I think
because those are all that are out right
I think
now.
I'm 2 issues behind right
I've
now.
only read the first one or maybe 2. I can't remember if I read the second one.
But yeah, if you're at a comic store and you don't feel like asking for fuck Fairyland, you can say, "Where's your I hate Fairyland issues, please?"
And then you could be like, I want to look at the naughty one.
Or you could turn around to the 12-year-old behind you and say, "Hey, where's the fuck Fairyland?"
Is it next to all the pornographics on the shelf there?
Is
I
it
need
next
these.
to sex criminals
Or Bitch Planet.
or bitch planet?
Awesome. I am going to take these and go home and read them and use heroin, little child.
Welcome to the world, kid.
And then you
Oh.
slap him across the face and walk out
Yeah.
without getting your issue of fuck Fairyland.
I mean, that's what I do. I don't know what you guys do every day, but
Do you do that every day?
sometimes my hand hurts and I have to take a nap for a couple weeks, but yeah.
I wish I could nap
Do
for a
you
couple
wake
weeks.
up with dreadlocks?
No.
That's
I just wake up looking like
just-
I was under a park bench for 2 weeks.
that just reminded
Because
me
it's
of
not
a
far off from...
that reminded me of a story that my aunt told me. She was working as a pastry chef at a ski resort, and one of her coworkers had was, I guess, a white guy with dreadlocks, and somebody asked him when he got his dreads, or when he got his hair dreaded, and he said, I don't know. I took a nap for a couple weeks, and when I woke up, my hair was like this. And it was never explained.
Okay. I mean,
Awesome.
maybe he thought he took a nap for a couple weeks.
That's probably
He
possible.
might have just been
Or he could have
drugged.
actually, I don't know.
So, somebody kidnapped him,
It's one of those two. It's possible is all I'm saying. Not for me. If I woke up after that time, my hair would just be gross and I'd have to take a shower like I did today, and I still... Ugh. Yeah.
Were you asleep for 2 weeks before? Wait, no, you were here last week.
Oh.
He was asleep. You just didn't notice.
Okay.
Yeah.
What with the moving and the talking and all that stuff and the beating us at games.
And the eyes being open and aware of things.
Yeah, he was actually asleep, though.
It's a pretty good trick if you can learn it. I don't recommend it, though.
Happens to some people when they take medicine and, go driving while they're asleep.
Like Keith when he hit that fire hydrant.
Except, I don't know, he was just falling asleep just because he was always sleepy, right?
Yeah, he was awake when he started driving. And then he just fell asleep while driving
That's
and hit a
bad.
fire hydrant.
Yeah, I've been pretty tired driving home from here from sometimes. It's like, just a little bit further, just a little bit further. I just have to start like moving around in the seat a lot. Make sure I'm
I don't know.
I'm awake.
I've never had the problem of. I've never been in danger of falling asleep while driving. Like no matter how tired I am, when I get behind the wheel, I kind of wake up. And I don't know. I've never started dropping off or anything while driving.
No highway hypnosis,
No.
as the truckers say.
Maybe if I lived in Kansas.
Where it's just straight road, straight road, straight road, straight
90-degree turn, straight road.
Yeah.
Or you could just skip the turn and go through the cornfield.
Sure.
You'll still get to the same spot. What have you been up to, Wes?
I started reading On a Pale Horse.
It's a fun series.
Yeah.
I've read it.
I'm about halfway through. It's about... Well, Lauren, you know what it's about, but
Yes, I do.
maybe some of our listeners who don't exist don't know what it's about.
I'm listening. I don't know.
It's by Piers Anthony, who's famous for his Xanth series.
Which is also really good.
Okay.
Yeah, you haven't
I'm
read
good.
any of
I
them.
don't need to know anymore.
I have all the books,
And
mostly.
I don't think I'm ruining too much because it happens in the first chapter.
And the books are 1 billion years old.
Well, yeah. But it's about this guy whose life is horrible. And
Oh, you read my diary. No.
he's about to commit suicide with a gun.
God damn it. Why did... You stole it, didn't you? You stole my diary. You're not reading Piers Anthony. No.
And then Death shows up,
Yes.
walks through the door.
Sort of floated a bit, but sure.
He sees him,
Liberties.
turns the gun on Death, and shoots him in the face and kills him.
He had it coming.
He killed Death.
And then Fate shows up and tells him, "You killed Death, so now you have to be Death."
Congratulations.
Wait.
You just got the worst job in the world.
I didn't agree to this.
You get to kill people for the rest of your life.
Fuck Fairyland. I mean, wait.
I know that
Fuck
probably sounds like
Death.
I'm not. I know that probably sounds like I'm giving away a lot, but that's literally the first chapter,
Yeah.
and then there's a whole lot more after that.
It's pretty cool. He just kills Death with a gun. Just like
Yeah.
all the
well,
times Death showed up, with other people dying from various ways or whatever. I'm sure
They could've
someone
just
else
shot
committed
him.
suicide at some point, but
Well,
he was the first one who's like,
you kind of find out that Death and all the other like Fate and War and all these other
All the fancy pansies.
all the fancy pansies there are,
The aspects of immortality.
yeah, they're actually human, but like with death, there's a whole series where they go into detail of the others, and I haven't read them obviously. But with death, he puts on the robe and whatever, and he's got these special boots and gloves, and those keep him from aging. They keep him immortal, but if he takes it off, he becomes mortal again. So with the cloak, it protects him, but since the cloak wasn't covering the previous death's face, it wasn't protected from the bullet.
Oh.
So he was still immortal.
Oops.
So yeah,
And
the bullet
vulnerable.
just went right through.
So this particular
It's a
death
big
was just
flaw in their
clumsy.
protection.
Yeah, and yeah, each new death killed the previous death to become death.
And then they kill, people for a while until they make a boo-boo and someone kills them and takes it over. And
Pretty much, yeah.
so it's like that Simpsons Halloween episode, except that came later because these books are like from the 19th century or billion years ago or something.
Simpsons did it, but they stole it.
Yeah,
They still did it.
it's a really good series. I've read them all.
And then they go through each of the incarnations, time.
War, fate, Gaia, Satan. So that was a really good book. Once
and
you
then,
get to that,
and then
that's,
God is the
yeah,
last
the
one.
last one's eternity. So, but yeah, it's a really good series. It gets complicated towards like the first few books because you're not quite sure what is going on, but the further you go, the clearer the picture becomes, and
Yeah,
you
it
can
starts
look back
kind
and
of
go,
interconnecting
I
with
see
the
how that
previous
was,
books, right?
yeah. It's like I can see how that's connected, but it gets really complicated with the second one because it's about the aspect of time, Chronos, and he lives his life backwards from all the other immortals. So he's literally like going backwards in time, and it gets super convoluted, crazy. Like, wait, what? And then you read the others, and it's.
I
Yeah.
can't even imagine attempting to write something that complicated. It
Yeah,
just
I don't know how he did it, but
makes my head hurt thinking about reading it.
yeah.
But I'm excited.
Sounds like fun.
But it's
I'm,
really
I'm
good.
excited at the same time, though. I'm looking forward to the confusion. Yay.
Yeah, you read them all. It just gets better the further along you get in the storyline, and yeah.
So I bought the first two books at a used bookstore because I remembered you telling me about it at one point.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that sounds familiar. I remember Lauren telling me about that. So they had the first two, I bought them. And now Lauren brought the rest of them over for me to borrow, and it's going to take me about 1,000,000 years to get through them, probably.
Yeah.
Because I'm probably also not going to read straight through all of them because I get kind of burnt out reading like one series all the way through, unless it's Harry Potter.
Well, it's like me. I've been reading.
Yeah.
I've been reading The Eye of the World, which is the start of the Wheel of Time series, for like the last 2 years, because I work full time and I have no time to read, and that's a thick book. I'm like halfway through it, but I have no time to read.
Well, you choose not to have time to read because you're
I
playing
like
World
to
of Warcraft.
sleep and play World of Warcraft.
If you didn't play World of Warcraft, you'd have time to read.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that soaks up a lot of my time. That's actually soaked up a lot of my time lately. Because yeah, I've been playing that with the new expansion and everything, and I finally got one of my first characters up to the max level. Yay, 110.
Neat.
So yeah,
So you said you had some complaints to lodge.
yeah, the leveling up.
I'm gonna turn over here now and
Yeah.
stare at the wall.
Hey, you're the one who got me hooked into World
Look
of
at
Warcraft.
this, everybody!
so
Look
come
what
on.
I brought.
Yeah, Patrick and
Here it is.
Patrick and I got Jason hooked on World of Warcraft, and then Jason got you hooked, and now you're the one.
I'm
you're
the only one that plays
left.
it. Kind of like Magic. You guys got Jason into Magic. You got me into Magic, and now I'm the Magic Master. And yeah,
But well, I don't even think I could play World of Warcraft at this point because of all the updates and shit. First of all, need to update for like 17 hours straight probably to get where the hell it is at now because I haven't even run the update.
You just
need
a new computer.
Yeah, well, I have a newer computer, but
it
that
doesn't
computer
have a
doesn't have
video
a video card. So it's pretty much as shitty as my old computer that does have a video card. They're just different, but the same.
He has the option
point
to
is
upgrade
I can't play
it
World of Warcraft
if he gets a video card.
And if I have to, like, I don't know, that newer computer's weird because it's in like a weird small casing and it needs to be put in a bigger one so an actual video card will fit in it because they don't make them in small.
Well, they have smaller versions, but they're more expensive.
Yeah, great. Just at that point, I just don't care and I go to sleep. I don't.
So what are your complaints, Lauren?
Sonic's 3D Blast is a game.
That's a complaint there. Sonic 3D Blast. It's not in World of Warcraft. Why haven't they done that? But I go into the game and it's really awesome the areas they created and stuff, and like one's like all based on like Norse mythology and stuff because you got Thor and Hela and all those, Loki and all them, and Odin, but they changed the name a little bit, so
Loki can cast
not
food dye.
I don't know who would copyright that Norse mythology, but it's not a direct rip-off. They changed the names, but it's still similar. Like Odin is spelt with a Y. Ooh. And
I wonder what they're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder what that'd be.
Makes me halfway excited just because I like Norse mythology a lot.
Yeah, I happened to pick that zone as my first zone, and I got in there. And it's like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah, it seems neater. Like, I don't care about any
really
of the
fun
Warcraft history. I know there's all the stories and shit with that. Its whole world.
And they've been doing all kinds of backstory and stuff with books that I don't read.
I want
to I don't know any of the backstory or any of that stuff. I've just learned what has happened in the games, and it's really fun. But you get into the new area, and it gives you a choice to go to one of 4 areas, and it's like, well, that's kind of odd. So I picked one, and I went there, and it's like all the enemies are level 100, and it's like, yeah, this is great, and I leveled up, and it's like, cool. And then I start noticing that the enemies I killed leveled up too. It's like, wait, I leveled up, they leveled up. Do it again. I level up, they level up.
Oh,
so
like
every time you level,
tactics. Great.
they level.
Fun.
So they're always the same level as you. So leveling from level 100 to level 110 is completely pointless. There's no reason for it. It is just a waste of time.
Are there any new things you can learn after leveling to 110? Like
once you get to 110, that's when everything unlocks and you can go do all the cool things.
So the only reason to level from 100 to 110 is to unlock everything.
Exactly. It's basically just like this. Here's this time sink right here in the middle before you can get to the good stuff. Because, on the cool thing is like if a level 110 guy goes into a level 1, an area where the guy's level 100 just starting out, he can't come in and just like blow everything up in one hit like you can in every other expansion. And then the level 100 guys sitting around waiting for everything to respawn. It's like
everything scales to you.
So the amount of damage you're doing is the same to the enemy as the amount of damage as the lower guy's doing, and so everybody can work together on it. But again, it's like completely pointless to level at that point. They could have left it at level 100. No more levels. You don't level anymore. But you just get stronger and stronger item levels for your equipment, which was the way you got stronger at the end of any expansion. Is the only way to get stronger is to, get better equipment, which it meant going to dungeons and then raids.
Leveling up makes you feel like you've done something, so add more levels.
Yes, so they added more levels, and it's literally just a time sink waiting to get to the good stuff.
Wow, makes me glad I haven't updated my computer.
There's a lot of really cool stuff to see once you get there, but it's like, I have like 7 level 100 guys, and now to get them to the good stuff, I have to make them level up to level 110, which is giant time sink, and that makes me sad. But other than that, everything's really cool. They added in a lot of neat stuff. There's new. The environments are like amazing. They look awesome.
Is your computer able to keep up with the new graphic stuff, or do you have to keep it on low?
No, my computer's actually really, really good, and the only thing holding it back is I need to throw more RAM in it, but I haven't bothered to spend $40 on a stick of RAM to make it perfect.
Yeah, the last time I played Warcraft, like, it still worked the same fine for me, but that was when fucking Panda Land came out or whatever. And so I was like, okay, I'll go over there and see what that place is like. And
that's when
as
they
soon
really
as I went
upped the
over there,
graphics.
like, my computer just couldn't run that place.
So it got like super
frame
choppy,
rate was
frame
shit,
rate
and I
dropped down.
had to leave.
The older
Fuck Panda Land.
The older world stayed graphically the same, and then Panda Land or whatever was
that's
looking.
when they started adding in like lots of stuff for like extra trees and bushes and things, because like if you played the original and you ran around, there's like not much anything.
That's true. Yeah.
Like if you're in the Barrens, it's barren.
Oh no!
Here, look,
there
there's
needs
a
to
tree
be
off
more
in the
grass
distance.
here.
Huh.
If only there was a fucking plant every 2 inches. Otherwise, I'm not having fun.
with Pandaria, there's actually one area that's like most of it's like jungle. So there's trees everywhere, bushes everywhere, all kinds of stuff.
Jungle and it ran
that
fine.
Was there bamboo?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the pandas have some diet, something to eat.
Yes, they have something to chew on while they're beating the crap out of everybody with their monk abilities.
As long as one of them's not voiced by Jack Black, I don't care.
But then once they go to all the other areas in the world, they'll start starving to death because they won't have bamboo to eat.
Yeah.
That's all they eat.
Well, they'll have to eat hamburgers now, won't they?
Yeah, they'll have to learn how to eat all the other stuff, which you do force them to eat, and they survive. But
yeah, but they consist on it.
They could live like Gertrude
completely
from
bamboo.
Fairyland. She
Maybe they
lives
take-
on a diet of sugar and alcohol.
I guess they're anthropomorphic, whatever pandas, so they're not the same as real pandas.
They
or else
like
they just
peoples.
like ground up their bamboo and then turn it into a paste that makes it look like a hamburger, and they eat that.
I'm gonna go with that.
Okay. But yeah, they keep updating the graphics here in the last few expansions to add more stuff and cooler things and all this really neat looking stuff. And then if you're like Jason with old computer, you're just sad because you can't play anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really torn up about it.
Well, I am, because I'm running around the world by myself.
Sad.
I have to play with myself.
So is everyone else.
So, but yeah, it's really fun. And if you haven't played in forever and you want to see what it looks like, you can start a character for free at up to level 20.
As long as your computer costs $8,000.
Well,
cool.
yeah.
That sounds neat. I like the idea of the Norse mythology stuff. Have you gone to either of the other 3 areas?
I've worked through one of the other areas, and it dealt with the elves and the ones that like joined with the Burning Legion demons and became Naga.
Are those the blood elves?
No, those are the fish people, the mermaid guys, the Naga ones that are everywhere in the game, and then they were originally elves at one point.
Oh, okay.
And they got like
And
corrupted.
then Christopher Lee pulled them out of the dirt and said, "You will make me a trilogy of movies."
So they actually came up with a story for those.
Yeah, they were originally
enemies.
elves, and then they got corrupted by the demons, and
Because why not?
Isn't that kind of the same thing as Lord of the Rings with the
Yeah, that's literally
orcs?
the elves, the orcs came from the elves, and these
Something
fancy,
like that.
the magical, dark,
but yeah, one of the other areas I haven't been
And
to
I
much.
think I'm paraphrasing, but I get the idea.
And then didn't those mega orcs, weren't they bred from goblins / orcs together?
Something like that.
And then they threw them in a mud pit
Please
and then
don't
scraped
answer
it
that
off.
question,
and
Internet.
then they
I
were
don't want to
born.
think about goblins and orcs doinking to make super doodles.
I think that they just chopped up an orc and a goblin, threw them in a mud pit, and then scraped the mud off, and they were born as a mega orc.
Apparently.
Because that's what it looked like in the movie, anyway.
That's how science
They were
works.
born from mud.
I mean, magic.
Yeah,
magic
in the
science.
movie, they just scraped a bunch of mud off of the guy, and then he was like, "Ah,
Oh,
I'm
this one's
scary."
bigger than the other ones and kind of more scarier a bit. He's going to be in charge.
Thud, 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 as they run through the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read the backstories
don't-
for Lord of
I
Rings.
don't
I have the
care.
book at
I
home,
just-
but I haven't read them. But yeah, one of the other areas that I've been through a little bit, but I haven't done much in, is deals with the Emerald Dream, which is like a big thing in the World of Warcraft lore that's been since the very beginning of the games. And yeah, it deals with that. And then there's the last area deals with a tribe of Tauren, who are the bull guys, and they're not related to the Horde at all, so it's for both sides. And it's really interesting because that's got its own little lore thing. I'm going through that with one of my other characters that I'm trying to level up.
So there's this tribe of Tauren that didn't join the Horde and are
Yeah.
just
And
unaffiliated.
they're just on this island, but they were under Deathwing before he became Deathwing. So he,
Oh, yeah, the dragon. I remember that.
the one from Cataclysm that destroyed the city.
Yeah, that was cool. Wow, I remember that.
Deathwing, he sounds scary.
Uh-oh, I'm on fire.
Yeah, Deathwing. I can kill him and coughing on him now because I'm level 110 and he was level 85. So
Does
yeah,
Deathwing death people with wings?
Ouch. I don't want
there
death
was an
rings.
achievement when Cataclysm was going around that Deathwing would just fly through a zone and breathe fire on stuff, and if it killed you, you got an achievement.
Maybe Death rides
sign
on
me up.
Deathwing and then deaths people to death.
That would be cool.
Uh,
There's a character in Fuck Fairyland called Death Deader, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
is he the giant knight with the skull
Yeah.
throne?
Yeah. He's cool looking.
Yeah.
Everything in the Fairyland has silly names, of course, and I like the characters' modes of swearing. They say vaguely sweary soundy words, but instead of fucking, they say fluffing or whatever.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that. It's pretty creative.
Yeah, I mean, it says "fuck Fairyland" on the front, and then they say "mother fluffer."
yeah, there's
they
actually not
don't
a lot
really
of cussing,
swear
no
at
real
all
swear
in
words.
the-
They're candy swears because they're in Fairyland.
Yeah, I wonder
And-
if she's
yeah.
actually swearing, but it's being censored because Fairyland. She's really saying "motherfucker," and then it's
Or else
And it
is
comes
just
out
because
different
when she
because-
went there as a
Yeah.
kid, she didn't actually know.
Yeah, she
That's
went.
true.
So the story is this
That's
girl
true.
is 8 years old and she ends up in Fairyland, and they tell her, "Oh, you can get out if you find some magic key or some bullshit." So she's accompanied by this little fly dude named what the hell is his name? I literally just read that. Anyway,
Right here, we're fluffed.
so yeah. And then it cuts to 30 years later, and she's still looking for the damn key. But that in all that time, she hasn't aged physically, but mentally,
Mentally.
she's lived all those years in Fairyland trying to find this key, not having success, going insane, and now she's just this murderous, alcoholic fuckopath, and it's glorious.
yeah,
The artwork is really good.
it is.
Man, this comic is great. It's made by Image Comics, I think, is the publisher.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Image.
And yeah, it's really good. There's right now, I guess there's 10 issues, and I read
I'm
them
gonna
all.
have to catch up on them.
And yeah, it's really funny because yeah, this Wizard of Oz candy coated oh, you gotta get home magical quest scenario and all this colorful, silly, fantasy tropes. But then you just have this girl's
It just
screw
goes
it all,
wrong.
murder,
Yeah.
bloodshed, just cuts everything guts open every time she comes across something because she's
Oh my
sick of it.
God! She killed all of the tickle trolls of.
Yeah,
Silly-
funny, happy forest, the
Yeah.
giggle hut, the laughy shack, and then she's that contradiction. I mean, it's pretty funny, pretty great. I really
Yeah.
like it.
Did you like the video game issue?
Yeah, that was cool. beamed into a giant arcade machine at one point to fight dudes, and they look all like more.
And they got a different artist to do the artwork for the majority of that.
When they're in the video game.
Yeah.
So they look different, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. They get the magic coin, which is like twice their size, and they have to lug it all the way to the tower,
3 days later.
which is a gigantic arcade console, and then shove the coin in just to play the game or whatever, and they're sucked inside of it. And of course, it's a fighting game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds awesome, and I'll have to read the rest of it at some point, because,
it's pretty good.
Of course, the ones that I like to read are the aliens and xenomorph aliens and predators and stuff like that, which is really, really fun. But there's not a lot of that stuff out there.
Yeah, how many series like that are going on right now that you're collecting?
Right now they've got Aliens Defiance, and then we go to the comic shop the day before everything comes out, the new releases, so it's like you can see it on the shelf.
Because that happens to be the day that we both have off of work.
And it's like,
and for whatever reason, Wednesday is like new comic day for the world. Apparently,
look at
I didn't know this until like
a
couple years ago, or whenever when we're started going there. And
well, we originally went on Thursdays, but then our days off changed.
It was at that point. It's like, oh wait, well, crap. Instead of coming the day after the comics have come out, we're coming before, and then we have to look at them too. And it's like, oh, there they are on the shelf. It's not even like, oh, it'll be here tomorrow.
I mean, on the plus side, I can see, hey, look, my comic comes out tomorrow. Hopefully it's still there next week when I come back in. And usually it's not. I
do usually get a couple, so I'll go there and get one, and then it's like, oh, well, there's the next one on the shelf. So, I still get one, and then I know there will be another one next week, hopefully. And that's fine, but at the same time, it's like,
Still, I guess they get them in Tuesday, and then
they have to sort them.
Yeah, they
sure
sort
they
them in, and the people
put
that
them in the inventory.
The people that pre-ordered that pre-ordered stuff, they have to make sure that they get the stuff they pre-ordered in their special boxes, and then they shelve them and everything.
So they literally couldn't do all that crap on the day that there's to be sold because there's
that'd be
much.
ridiculous.
The funny thing is, the card shop, I used to go there because I could walk there when I was kind of more into Marvel stuff, and you'd show up when they open, and then the guy pulls out the box of comics that they got on Wednesday that morning when they open, and then he has to sort through everything, make sure the people that pre-ordered their stuff, that goes in their boxes, and then if there's anything left, it goes up on the shelf, and it's like an hour later, and I'm going, fuck, I showed up when you opened, and I have to wait here a freaking hour for you to sort through everything so that I can buy that.
That seems less than ideal.
Yeah, so I prefer the way they do it.
Yeah, it sucks not being able to get it, but it's like, yay, it'll be there. But yeah, some things that are more popular, they get like more issues of, and then the things that aren't as popular, like apparently the aliens and predators and stuff, they don't get quite as many. And if somebody comes in and buys the 4 copies they have, then I have to reorder one, which they'll reorder it for me, which is awesome. And then I usually have to wait 2 weeks to get it.
Yeah, and then there's the case of the Thundercats He-Man crossover that I was looking forward to for like 2 months. And then they get it in, I guess, and the next week it's not there. And I ended up asking about it, and they said, oh yeah, we sold out of those really quick. And then he looked on the computer to see if he could order me an issue, and the distributor had sold out of them as well. So
they didn't think it was going to be that popular.
Hoping that there's going to be a second printing, which I would assume there would be if they sold out of it.
Would if they sold out that fast.
Yeah, So
They're literally printing
like
themselves money.
Cases like that, it's like, yeah.
Well, right now there's only 3 that I'm looking for. They got the Aliens Defiance, then they've got the Life and Death series, which they do a 4-story arc in each thing. They did one called Fire and Stone, but they do one arc with the Predators, then they do an arc with the Prometheus guys from the movie Prometheus, which is kind of cool that they tie those in there. And then they do one with like aliens, and then they do one with like aliens versus predators. So there's like 12 in the whole little thing. And right now they're on the aliens part of Life and Death. And that one came out last week, and they sold out. And then Aliens Defiance come out tomorrow. So maybe it'll be there next week when I come.
Or they'll sell out.
Or they're still out. And then the other one that was coming out was Predators versus Aliens versus Judge Dredd, which was pretty awesome because I got like the first 2 of them. And then I noticed in the back of issue 2 that it was supposed to, like the 3rd one came out like a month ago. And I asked about it and they're like, oh, no, looked it up. It had been delayed until like next month. So it had been delayed a couple months, even though in the back of the 2nd issue it said, oh, it comes out on this day. And it's like, okay, why advertise when the next one's coming out if it's not actually going to come out that day?
They must have just run into problems.
The artist fell asleep on his hand, and it fell asleep, and now they're both asleep, and we can't draw.
I remember a few years ago now, there was this series that was coming out called Butcher Baker the Righteous Maker.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and apparently there were 7 issues out, and then something like a year later, an 8th issue came out, and then that was it, and they just ended it. And apparently what happened was there was this big argument or some big problem between the writer and the artist. So something was going on between them for like a year, and then I guess they eventually decided, let's at least wrap up the story, do a final issue.
Yeah, one last issue.
And then just be done with this.
Well, and then go back to being selfish dicks.
That's the thing.
So it was probably something over money or whatever.
I don't know, because, it's kind of, you got the writer, which I got ideas for comics and stuff, which is really cool. But if, you hand it to the artist and it's like, I see it's up to them. They can interpret it however they want. But, I mean, then you get some writers that are like, no, I don't like the way you drew that. And it's like, why? It's their interpretation.
Yeah, they might be like super controlling over their idea because they had it in their head the way they wanted it, and then
it's
who
like
knows?
At that point it's like draw it yourself, but I can't draw, so I don't do that. But it's like I'd be more excited to see how did they interpret it? What do they come up with?
It seems like stuff like that happens a lot. Like there's this one series that our Observer in particular was really into called Witches, spelled with a Y.
Witches?
And remember how many issues? I think there were like 7 issues or so.
6.
6 issues. There were 6 issues. And it went through a full story arc and then set up for the next one. And it's been, I don't know how many months, like 6 months or something now. Since they were going to take a break and then start up again, and it's just been way too long now. And we have no idea what's going on with that one.
Yeah, stuff like that sucks.
It's like it ends on a cliffhanger, and now what's happening?
What happens? I need to know.
Or did they not sell enough, and the publisher decided not to continue with
Just
it?
Went, SpaghettiOs, and burnt down the building, left.
Well,
you're going to have to track down the writer and strangle it out of them. Tell me what you know. Do the wrestling chokery, the chicken choking that I was doing in the WrestleMania.
Well, when we got down here at your place today, I was talking to you about the movie I found, and it was a similar thing where they went through, because we went to Dimple a few weeks ago, and I didn't find what I was looking for, but I found something I wasn't expecting to find. So I found a DVD copy of The Last Unicorn, and a lot of people are probably like, "What is that?" And then the other people are like, "I know that," because that's apparently the only two types of people there are.
Uh-huh.
But
Hey, turns
There are
out
people like,
either know
I
something
vaguely
or not.
remember something about that, but I didn't like it.
yeah, when I was a little kid, you'd go to the library because libraries existed. They still do.
Still exist, just not
But
many
There are
people know about
buildings that
them.
have books in them.
Yeah,
and a
it-
book is like a computer.
It's
really
big and
but
popular,
It
and
only
you can,
has so many
you know,
words,
read stuff
and it's
for
made
free.
out of paper.
I think some people still know about libraries, but they think that it's just a place where you go to get free Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Or
that
watch
kind
the
of thing.
hobos sleep.
yeah,
Yeah.
Off their
that too.
latest hangovers.
throw food at them while they're sleeping. But yeah, at one point the library actually had a small VHS like section for tapes, videos,
Mhm.
and a lot of people
Yeah,
just went, "What's a VHS?"
The one I go to still has a little section of DVDs.
Yeah,
Right now.
a lot of people are like, "What's a VHS?" Well, it was this really big blocky thing that you stuck into a VCR, and then it showed a picture on the TV, like a DVD.
There may
But
even be
not a
some
disc.
people. There may even be some people that are
Crappy.
like, "What's a DVD?" What
Yeah.
It's like a laser disc, but smaller.
But
Get it? Got it? Good.
okay, now that we're all caught up. But yeah, they had a copy of the Last Unicorn at the library, and like every time we went there, because we went there like every week, and if it was there, we rented it and borrowed it from the library because library's free. So
Yeah.
you literally didn't even have to pay for it. You just borrow it, just like a book, and had to bring it back, a week
Yep.
later. And I remember watching it like crazy, and then Jason and our sister Sarah don't remember it. But we watched it like crazy. How do you not remember it? You probably
I don't know. I thought Berenstein Bears was spelled with an E. Apparently it isn't.
No, it's an E. I know. We have the books.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's... Damn it, now next time we're at our parents' place, we're going to have to dig out those old fucking books, and we're going to be so goddamn sad. This is just asking for trouble.
But yeah, I found the DVD of that at Dimple, and I was like, holy crap. They actually have it on DVD? Because it was like something you didn't even find on VHS. It was really hard to find because it wasn't really released all that much. And
Limited and or
so
trouble release.
I watched it the other night, and afterwards, in the bonus things, they had this big like documentary thing on the making of it, and which was almost as long as the actual movie, because they went through a lot of crap to get this made. And one of the big things is after they finally got it made, they couldn't find anybody to release it. So they finally found one place, small little hole in the wall that would release it, and they released it in theaters, in like 600 theaters or something, I think they said. And in the first week, it did great. It came in like 6, which was
Number
pretty
6
good.
in the box office.
But then the second week, it actually went up in views, which is like unheard of, that things go up in views. Almost everything drops off. But this
Yeah.
went up. And then like in the third or fourth week, the company that released it went bankrupt and closed. Gone.
Neat.
So at that point, all the ticket sales and all that stuff no longer got reported because the place that got closed down. Nobody was there to report it.
So the theaters were just pocketing all the ticket
Yeah,
sales.
pretty much just got it all for themselves. And apparently, in some places, it was playing for like 6 months to a year. That it was still in theaters because people were still coming in and watching it. But because of the other place going bankrupt, it never got reported. So it was technically a failure and a flop, because it never got reported how much it actually got watched. So it became this obscure cult classic that only so many people know about.
Yeah,
And-
turns out on the DVD here, it's the DVD release. is from Shout Factory, and I recognize that name because they release a lot of like sort of weirder, lesser-ish known things, like Mystery Science Theater DVDs, for example, because like that stuff would show on TV and then it would just kind of disappear into the void. And Shout Factory would like find stuff. I think maybe the Evil Dead movies or something. They did that because I watched Evil Dead the other day because Halloween.
Yeah, I wonder if they'd have a DVD of the Lensman. That was another VHS that we actually own that would be awesome on DVD.
This company, like I'll find like a weird sort of obscure movie sometimes and be like, oh, neat, a DVD version of it or whatever. And yeah, it's usually Shout Factory that released the DVD.
Yeah. Apparently, when this movie went to Germany, though, and they got it in Germany, it became the actual massive hit that they wanted it to be here, with like big lines of merchandising and all kinds of other stuff, and it was promoted everywhere, and like everybody in Germany like went crazy over it, and it actually outdid Star Wars in Germany. So that's pretty awesome right there.
Yeah. When you mention Evil Dead, every time I hear that title, I think of Dead Alive.
Yeah, that's kind of... I've actually never seen Dead Alive, but...
They're not...
I mean, the title's actually The Evil Dead, technically, when we talk about the first...
Yeah.
Whatever, Evil Dead. But yeah, I know about Dead Alive. I've never seen it. I just don't have it. Or...
amazing.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
So is Evil Dead. It's awesome.
Yeah, Evil Dead.
They tried to be
Evil Dead's great.
serious with the first one, but a lot of it just came out comedical. So it's like in the last other ones, they just purposely made it like comedy.
It was kind of campy, low budget.
But it was awesome.
The first one was more horror, the second one's horror and comedy, and the third one's more comedy than horror.
I'd have to say I don't really like the third one. I mean, it's
Ash versus the Evil Dead.
It's fine.
Army of Darkness.
Or the Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
They've got the TV series now that's
Ash versus Evil Dead. Which actually I read it up on like some of it, and it's apparently
I've seen some of it at work.
It seems good.
Because my new job, they have actual TV with like stars, and it's like, wow, we have real TV here? This is amazing.
Movies.
So, yeah, occasionally people will complain because we'll leave it on the movie channel, and then when they come in early in the morning at 4 a.m., it's playing porno, and we're out on the sales floor working, so it's like not like we're watching it. It was just on a movie when we were at lunch. It's not our fault. We didn't program it.
It was showing The Last Unicorn when we left, honestly. Now it's like all these naked people. I don't know. Could be the same.
Fornication.
Yeah, there was a Rob Zombie movie on the other day that they would have complained about.
Whoops.
Do you know which of the Evil Dead movies most people prefer? Is it the third one?
I think most people have seen the third one.
Yeah, people have probably seen the third one the most because when it was released in theaters, I think it had a PG or PG-13 rating as opposed to R, like the first two. So more people saw it. And there's more dialogue in it. Like if you ask someone to quote a line from the first Evil Dead, they'd be like, I don't know. But there's so many quotes from Army of Darkness like that are so cheesy and microwavably awesome.
Yeah, they're like
I really like the second movie. Not too fond of the third one, but my favorite is the first one. Really, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I've only seen the second one once.
But
the third one's always on. The third one's always on TV.
Well,
and then the first one, we have the DVD, so it's like.
Well, I mean, we have all three of them on DVD now. Well, in fact, whenever I think about Evil Dead, like in general, whether it's any of the movies or whatever, and I feel like watching them, I'll just not all at once, but over the course maybe a few days, I'll end up watching all three movies in a row just because. Like I said the other day, I watched the first one, then I watched a little bit of the second, and I'm going to end up probably watching the rest of it in the third one later this week, maybe. Just because. And yeah, from what I hear, like the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV show is really cool, with, like picking up with just Bruce Campbell as Ash like 30 years later, and he's in Fairyland, and he's fucking pissed and drunk all the time. And, wait, what are we talking about? yeah, it's kind of like that, and it sounds great.
I can see Ash.
I know. In the first movie, Ash wasn't really a character yet. He was kind of I'm the dweeby.
Yeah, he was kind of like the friend of like.
But
you're supposed to think like
he's the
other
one that's
guy
gonna
is
die.
be
Yeah,
the hero.
I liked it because you don't expect him to be the hero, and he isn't really. He's just
the one that
just
survives.
All three of the girls.
He
and
just survived by accident, really.
The other guy. And by the end of it, he asked. It's just there's not even any dialogue really in the last like 30 minutes of that movie. It's
him
just
screaming
him
a lot,
either screaming or
and then
reacting to shit around the audience
and
or the
a
house.
camera rushing at him, and him going, "Bah!"
Yeah, at the very end there.
What the hell happened? And then they start the second one.
I mean, the one of the oldest tricks in the book is if you don't have a budget and you want a monster, have
the camera
be the monster.
Yeah, but
and it worked.
And have your actors go
Yeah, for all the silly, cheap, corner-cutting nonsense that people did when they made the movie, like they just did it so well though. Like with their shitty budget and
a tree fucked a girl in the first one. Come on,
living in. I mean, they were basically living in that cabin with like no plumbing for like weeks, and by the end of it, everyone was fucking miserable. But Sam Raimi especially thought that it was funny that, like, Ash, Bruce Campbell's character Ash gets hurt and pretty bad in the movie, but at one point Bruce Campbell himself, like, he actually got hurt like during filming. His leg got hurt a little bit. So Sam Raimi from then on would enjoy poking him in the leg with a stick just to make Bruce like wince and be in pain because he thought it was funny. But also it like actually translated into his performance because by the end of the movie I think he's kind of limping a bit. It's pretty funny.
That's horrible.
And ever since then, like Bruce Campbell just gets the crap kicked out of him in all three of these movies. Like he always just blood pouring on him, guts getting blown in his face, him getting beaten
his
up. His
hand turns evil.
Yeah,
that's
one of the best scenes in Evil Dead 2
awesome.
where he just chainsaws his hand off and you
Cuts
just see all his
hand.
blood flying in his face while he's screaming and laughing at the same time. And then the next scene he's like going insane in the house and all the lamps and shit are laughing along with him and he starts laughing and then he starts screaming and then it's so good.
Yeah,
if you haven't seen these very old movies, you should definitely see them because
they are
Halloween,
more cult classics.
And they're great. And yeah, cult classics are good. You know what isn't a cult classic?
Before you go on to what is not a cult classic,
a lot of things.
You really, really need to see Dead Alive.
Yeah, I know. I've heard about it so much, and like admittedly not much footage, but the bit of footage I've seen from it, it just looks fucking bonkers.
It's insane.
Isn't that the one Peter Jackson did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's that fucking super gory, like crazy, insane.
I think that was what he did before he did Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I don't know if he did anything in between those two, which is kind of weird, but.
Yeah, almost kind of like the Troma films with just like schlocky, gory, crazy nonsense.
Except it seemed like he had more of a budget for that one.
Yeah. From what I've seen, just a little bit of effects and stuff, it looks great. Like, I don't really care about super gory movies or all that shit, but I'm more interested in, like, I go back and watch Evil Dead now. When I first watched it, 10 years ago or whatever, like, yeah, it's kind of scary, whatever, horror movie and gory and all that stuff, especially for its time. But I watch it so much, I like watching it now, just even though I know everything that's going to happen, like, it's not scary. It's like, oh, he's going to get grabbed right here when he turns around and, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I like watching it and seeing all the weird little stuff you don't notice even the fifth time around. Like, I could name some examples, but honestly, like, half the fun is discovering them, kind of. And it's like, wow, I never saw that before. Like, I wonder if you didn't plan that. I'll give an example. Like, there's a scene, actually there's two scenes in Evil Dead where Ash gets knocked into a bookshelf and, like, he gets thrown by someone or something, and he gets knocked into a bookshelf. And then afterwards, like, Bruce Campbell was supposed to just get up and kind of be like, oh, but after he got knocked in the bookshelf, he was starting to get up, and then the bookshelf just fell over on him. And Sam Raimi thought that was so fucking hilarious, he just left it in the film. So, like, that wasn't even supposed to happen to him. And it happened twice. That cabin is nothing but windows and bookshelves. It's great. And you know the really weird thing? I watched a little bit of Back to the Future a while ago too, because Halloween. That screams Halloween. Back to the Future.
Yeah, why not?
Whatever.
Just watch Back to the Future because it's
it's great.
Yeah, it's a good movie, so watch it.
But anyway, I noticed like in the opening scene of Back to the Future, when Marty goes into Doc's empty office or whatever, and he plugs in the big giant fucking amplifier into his guitar, and he gets like blown back into the bookshelf or whatever. Literally, like the way the scene was supposed to play out was like an Evil Dead. He was supposed to get knocked in the bookshelf and kind of stand up and dust himself off, but the bookshelf fell over on Michael J. Fox when they filmed that scene, and they thought it was funny, so they left it in. It's
People getting hurt is always funny. Haven't you watched America's Funniest Home Videos? That's all it is people getting hurt.
America's fucked up, most crazy
Either
home
that or
meetings.
it's a cute dog with a hat on.
Yeah,
No.
one or the other.
That one always wins. Damn it. Boo.
Well, okay, let me just... One thing that's really great about Dead Alive, I know I keep coming back to it, but, okay, normal zombie movie. You destroy their brain or whatever, and they're dead.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a zombie movie where every part of the zombie is independently alive. Like,
Ooh.
there's a point where...
So if you cut off their hand, the hand starts crawling around as well as the zombie.
Yeah.
Hey, that's where the
There's a point where
decapitated hands come
there
from.
are
Blood.
some intestines with a asshole on the end of it crawling around, attacking people.
There was no dignified way to say that, so I'm glad
No.
you just said it. Go on.
And there's also this great part where the guy's uncle just takes two cleavers and he just starts manically hacking away at zombies. He's just freaking out and there's blood splattering in his face and he's maniacally laughing.
Great.
And then at the end he sits down on a pile of quivering body parts and smokes a cigarette. Like all these arms and legs are just like twitching around and stuff. He's smokes a cigarette.
That's awesome. Yes, I have to watch this movie now.
Sounds great. It sounds like Reanimator. Like
Yeah.
Reanimator, like I think had the same kind of idea. Like, oh, the zombie, you, like chop off any part of them, and then that part will start coming after you too.
Yeah,
There's no way to fucking get rid
it's
of them.
similar to that. There's also
I've
a
never
part
seen that
where
movie either, but
they like shove this zombie girl back, and a wall sconce gets shoved into the back of her skull, and then the light stays on, and her head lights up like a jack-o'-lantern, and then she's just stuck on the wall sconce, and she's like trying to walk towards them, but she just has to stay there and be a jack-o'-lantern.
That's awesome.
you are furniture now.
Yeah,
You are now a decoration.
so many good parts. There's another part where he like gets a lawnmower, like one of the regular push mowers,
Damn.
and just bzzz, starts mowing down zombies with the blade of the lawnmower. And I don't know.
Man,
There's a lot of parts that I don't remember
Well.
too. Like there's a kung fu priest, and
shit.
yeah,
You could have just said Dead Alive, Kung Fu Priest, and I would have bought it.
okay.
But yeah, oh, that'd be great if Peter Kirby was involved with it. That'd have been so cool. But yeah, maybe that you can find that on DVD, like we did with other deal there. With you know, go from happy kids movie to fucking gory Gonkel Lakers or whatever. Movies.
What? No pudding? We'll find out what that means later.
Oh boy.
But I like pudding.
Oh yes, Young Frankenstein is also a movie that is good. Although it's not really a cult classic. It's just a classic, I guess. Yeah, it's a classic. And like I watched it last year just because Halloween, I guess. I don't really celebrate it or anything, but it, you know, seemed especially appropriate this year with Gene Wilder's passing, and yeah, like still a really great movie.
Yeah,
I watched
he's an
that and
awesome
Blazing
actor.
Saddles, and yeah, like even as a kid, like, you know, I watch these movies. I also watched like Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory, which I never really liked that movie too much. But whenever Gene Wilder was on the screen, it's like, okay, now I'm paying attention because he's like the best part of the whole movie or any movie he's in, basically.
yeah.
Yeah. because he was an amazing actor.
He just has this presence about him. He has this certain way of like going from calm to completely insane, back to calm again in a second. It's great.
All the other actors were pretty bland in that Willy Wonka movie.
Yeah, it's like, look, the
especially
kid and
Charlie and his grandpa were just like, oh.
At least the other kids had like a bratty personality. That was a personality. They were fucking annoying, but it was something.
Charlie was a little angel.
They did the normal way, and Grandpa did. Like, the worst thing they did was drink some of that bubble crap and go up into the ceiling fan. Then Willy Wonka's all pissy about it. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
At least he didn't like shit in your chocolate lake. You
like the fat
hypocrite.
kid.
All the other kids are probably fucking dead, but boo-hoo.
Well, they almost died.
Well, I think in the book,
I think that
they
he just
never
wanted them all to die.
You just
just mad
assume
because
they're
they
dead. Yeah. Because it's like, well, the one got sucked up a tube of chocolate, and the other one fell down into the incinerator. One turned into a blueberry.
But we only have the incinerator on every other day, so she has a sporting chance.
Yeah.
That is a great line.
Yeah, you don't know what happens to him, but then in the newer one, they show them all at the end coming out, and he's all stretched out or whatever.
The little bit I saw of that fucking movie, I just...
I didn't like the remake.
But yeah, if... I'm just going to say all the other kids died, and then at the end, Willy Wonka was just really pissed off that Charlie and his grandpa didn't get chopped up by that fan.
Yeah.
Well, I think in the remake...
I just wanted to murder children. That's why I sent out those golden tickets.
Yeah, I think the remake is closer
to sinister
the
new
book
outlook on this movie.
Instead of the remake movie is closer to the book, I believe.
Yeah,
it is.
What
like,
the actual
who cares?
musical is.
It's supposed to be. And that's why Tim Burton did it. That's what he just keeps doing that. Like, Alice in Wonderland wasn't close enough to the book, so I'm going to do an Alice in Wonderland CG nightmare and make it closer to the book.
Come over here for a minute. I got to use you again.
Yeah.
I have nothing against Johnny Depp, but he's like in a billion fucking movies, and sometimes he's just not cast right.
Well, the biggest problem is that Tim Burton makes a movie and wants Johnny Depp to be in it. But a lot of directors are like that though, where they
like certain
they
actors.
like one actor and they want to cast him in everything.
Yeah, I can see why. Like Edward Scissorhands was a great movie, and I can see why they'd want to work together again. But then, like, you get Alice in Wonderland one day, and it's like, what the fuck is going on?
I haven't even seen that one.
I don't even.
Really, the thing with Johnny Depp is that he plays almost the same character in every role. If it's a weird, no, he just pretty much plays himself in every role. I mean, Captain Jack Sparrow is basically the same as the Mad Hatter and the Willy Wonka, and he just has this same way about him that he always acts. I don't
Being
know.
slightly insane.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, he has the same
Thinking
physical
about
mannerisms too in almost every role.
Yeah.
It's just he doesn't blend into the roles. You're like, oh, that's Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Whereas there's the guy that played Bones in the new Star Trek movie.
Oh, yeah.
He also played Judge Dredd. He also played what's his face, the horse guy from Lord of the Rings. And
crap, what is that guy's name?
He played several other things that
you don't even recognize him. But
where
from movie to
I
movie.
started going, holy shit, that's the same guy.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it. It was Patrick that told us. It's like, yeah, the guy who plays Bones in this, he did Judge Dredd. It's like, wait, what? Really?
Yeah, like actors
That's a
like that,
different
they blend into the role and they're really.
Yeah, you don't even realize
But
it.
then at the same time, it's like, how did they get popular as an actor?
Exactly. That's another problem.
They're
It's
never
like,
going to be like a big name actor at that point.
You don't really know them as much because they blend so well, but they do. I mean, that's...
It's like they hand a resume to someone and they're like, wait,
Yeah,
really?
You did
Yeah.
that?
But really,
I don't
they're
remember that.
like kind of more talented for that, I guess.
Yeah, it's a really cool talent to be able to do that, but yeah, it also makes it a lot more difficult because like Vin Diesel, look at all the roles he's in. Big buff guy that does stuff.
Yeah,
It's really
yeah.
hard for him to get anything else because everybody recognizes him for that.
Unless
Pretty
it's one
much.
of those like dumb oh look, The Rock is a babysitter in this movie. Isn't that ironic? You know, like one of those stupid.
Didn't Hulk Hogan do a similar thing?
I was frozen today. So Back to the Future is a great movie, and so is Young Frankenstein and
Kindergarten Cop?
I actually don't know if I've ever seen Kindergarten.
I have. It was a long time ago.
God,
but I've
I
seen
saw
it.
the one where Arnold got fucking pregnant. Like, why did I have to see that one?
I've seen that one too.
I wish
The thing that sticks out in
Junior.
my mind.
That's what's fucking goddamn.
Yeah, and
damn
the only thing about that movie that sticks out in my mind is the baby that has Arnold's
Oh
face
God!
on it.
No. If you make that the image for this podcast, I'm going to kill you. Don't
You gave him an
do it.
idea.
No, don't do it.
That's a great idea, Jason.
Better
Better
yet,
not do
That's
it.
a really good
this
idea.
with Arnold's face.
Ow.
Jason,
Oh.
you just had the best idea.
Oh God.
Fuck Fairyland. You're all fired.
I love a parade.
Well, Wes looks like Christmas came early.
Hey, this might actually come out by Christmas.
I am happy.
That will be an amusing picture to look forward to.
Okay, but it better not just be the baby. It better be his face on like something hilarious or.
I don't know.
Just, God.
Maybe that baby will just pop up at random times here and there. Just poof. Wait,
Like-
what was that?
You have Gene Wilder as Frankenstein, and he's got the monster on the slab, but instead of Peter Boyle, it's fucking baby Arnold, crazy crying nightmare fetus. There's your image.
Then a unicorn walks in and picks it up and carries it off.
God. Let me just use a picture from Fuck Fairyland. It's so much happier there. But with all the dying and stuff, it doesn't have fucking fetus Arnold, so we're good.
I could always use the image from Total Recall where Arnold's eyes are
Yeah,
bugging out of his socket.
that's still unpleasant,
That's
but much
awesome.
better.
Yeah, that's an awesome part.
There's all kinds of silly Arnold faces if you think about it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Man.
You watch
man.
Young Frankenstein, though. It's at least Young Frankenstein. I will say this, at least, like Blazing Saddles, like Cleveland Little, who played Black Bart. Like he was really good in it, and it was like his first movie ever, and it's like the only thing he was in other stuff too throughout the course of his life, but that's the one everyone remembers him for, that role, that first one. And yeah, he's real good. And especially Young Frankenstein, the supporting cast in that is great. You have
Well,
Marty
it's like
Feldman as Igor.
Igor.
You have Cloris Leachman as Frau Blucher. Nay.
Well,
and
you got the part with like Igor when you were talking about things that got into movies and they just kept it because it was hilarious. He kept moving his hump.
yeah, he
And
kept
nobody
switching it.
knew it
on
until
set.
like way later, and then they actually put that as a part in the movie. Wait, wasn't your hump on the other side?
Yeah,
It was like,
and
what
then,
hump?
Yeah.
and then later he brings that same idea back with Robin Hood Men in Tights, where the sheriff of Rottingham's mole keeps.
Or,
moving
Yeah,
no,
over.
that was the King's Mole.
Yeah, the
or
King's Mole.
Prince John's.
Oh no,
Prince
Prince John's mole.
And the sheriff points it out.
Yeah,
And it's like, wasn't your mole on the other side? He's like, what? I have a mole?
and then at one point it's like dead center in between his eyebrows.
Yeah. Just keep moving on. Yeah.
Yeah, Prince John's mole.
Those are
Yeah, there's so many
awesome
good,
movies.
like, quotable moments, especially from Young Frankenstein.
But
like,
it was the actor's idea to move the hump, and
Yeah.
nobody else.
yeah, it was Marty
it's-
Feldman's idea. Like, he was a comedian that was
That's
signed
great.
on.
He just kept
And-
doing it to see if anybody would notice.
That's great.
Like, if there's one thing, like, Gene Wilder's great in that, and then, like, Marty Feldman's right there, too, just as good. Like, every scene he's
Oh,
in,
yeah.
he's always, like, mugging the camera, or, like, something goofy will happen. He'll, like, comment to the audience, like, break the fourth wall, or he'll just, like, you know, they go in the castle. He just comes out one more time and says, Frau Blucher! Yay! And he just smiles to the camera and runs in. It's just fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
Abby normal.
it's an abnormal brain.
Are you telling me you put an abnormal brain in this body? Or Damn your eyes! Too late. Just looking at the camera, deadpan. That's a great movie, and it's very much Halloween themed, so if you listen to this at Halloweeny time, you should watch it. And if you don't, you should watch it anyway, because it's good. And
Oh,
so is
by
all
the
these
way,
other
this
things.
podcast will probably come out after Halloween.
Oh, yeah. Oops.
Wait, we're recording before Halloween?
Yeah, we're backlogged.
No, I mean, hey, guys, it's Christmas time, and you know what that means.
Watch
Evil
Young
Dead.
Frankenstein and
Who cares?
whatever.
Evil Dead is the most Christmas-themed movie because it has a dying.
Yeah,
Okay.
dying is fun.
Ah, fuck Fairyland. Any final thoughts?
No.
Oh. You mean it's not like TV where everyone has something clever to say before the show is over?
Yeah.
No.
Not really. No.
Spork, I guess. Sonic
No more
3D Blast.
sporks.
Mario Party.
I've had it with sporks.
Oh yeah, next week we should totally play Sonic Shuffle. I couldn't stand it. I like Mario Party. I like Sonic. Sonic Shuffle scares me. So I can't wait to share that with all of you.
Watch We Love It. and
Let's
Jason's
play
the only
Sonic
one that hates
Shuffle.
it.
I'm actually looking forward to this.
Great, so am I. Stern face.
All right,
Yeah.
I think that's enough.
I was gonna bring it, but I forgot to find the third controller. I'll have to dig it out. But yeah, I have a
Oh
week.
no, oopsie daisy.